This time I'm
Oh,
coming
wait, wait,
to.
wait. We
Nope.
gotta back up. We gotta back up. Okay, we're good now.
Now we're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 48-hour art check, round 27. This time I'm coming at you from my teenage cousin's bedroom. So got a nice, cool backdrop there for you.
It's awesome. I love the stripes. It's very like mod kind of 70s vibe going on.
Right. Yeah. It's good times.
All right, so to catch up our viewers and stuff, this is round 27. We usually have an intro, so maybe we should do the intro right now.
Okay. Shink, shink.
Chung, chung. 48-hour art check. All right. So Cory is currently out of state, like from where he lives, and he is adopting a child right now, and so they're kind of hanging out near the hospital, waiting to kind of, get their kid and being able to spend time with them. And it's a long, arduous process and stuff. But in the meantime, we are sticking true to our kind of almost like, I don't know, it would be like almost like a mission statement of the 48-hour
Yes.
art check, which is like rain
Some sort of
or
blood pact.
rain or shine. Like it's important for us to keep our personal projects moving forward because otherwise they just won't get done. So
Yeah.
that's the whole point of this thing, is for us to kind of touch base, make sure we're doing this. And so we'll keep it pretty short. How are things? Are things good in
Yeah.
in Arizona right now? How's the weather?
Oh, okay. The weather, I was thinking this isn't so bad because it was in the high 90s and I can handle that. But now that the storm has kind of passed through, it's actually getting hot and it was like upwards of 107 today. But like it's still super wet in the air. And so it is terrible. And I am not built for this kind of heat.
No, I mean humidity, dude. Yeah, like the last place on earth I want to live is Florida. Nothing against Florida, just like I couldn't
Right.
do the humidity. So thinking about
Right.
Arizona with some water in the air, that sounds
Yeah.
like a disaster.
I mean, I drove around today because we were running errands, and I had like the AC full blast for like 20 minutes in the car, and it still was like muggy, and like my clothes are like sticking to me. So, and I'm sure people from around here are just like, yeah. So, but
Welcome to
anyway,
Arizona.
yeah, exactly.
No, the one time I was in Arizona was for a business trip, and the plane that I flew down on, like when the one I was going to fly back on, the engine like stopped because of the heat,
Oh
and
man.
I was like talking to um, some like local guy because they had to comp me a room and all this stuff, and so I take a taxi cab um, and in the taxi I was like, "Is that like a norm? Like what? Like that kind of sucks." And he's like, "Oh, that happens all the time here. Like the engines just melt." And I was like, "What?" I thought he was exaggerating. But like every Arizona resident I met, they were like I remember even the people I had the business meeting with, I was like, "Oh, there's a mister on the patio. This is some like kind of quaint and cool idea." And they're like, "No, no, you don't understand. If there weren't a mister, there would be no patio."
Right.
Arizona, every patio has a mister. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, my very brief experience in Arizona was like, I don't know if I could do Arizona. And I live in the Antelope Valley, which is like known for really high heat, like probably some of the
Yeah.
highest heat in California, but it's just not. It can't even compete.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. I mean, the day before we showed up, it was like over 120, and I was like, no, man, I didn't even. I only packed shorts. Like, no, like, I didn't even bother. Anyway, it's kind of funny. But then the other thing that I didn't realize is that it's not just the heat; it's the fact that every business and every public location and every private home that I've been in has the AC turned down to like 40 degrees. So like you go inside and it is remarkably chilly. And then you go outside and it's like an 80-degree swing in temperature.
Yeah.
And so like my daughter is like wrapping up in blankets in restaurants and stuff. And then we go outside. She's like, what do I do with this blanket? I'm like, dude, I don't know.
So good.
So,
All
so
right. Well,
yeah,
should we delve in? Because
yeah, let's do it.
all right. So let's talk about what we've accomplished so far. So what did you get done? I might try to kind of pull open a screenshot while you talk,
Okay.
and then when you're done talking, because we're using a different program, we're just using regular Hangouts for this
Yeah.
because of the remoteness uh, of your location. But yeah, so let's talk about
Yeah. So what I got done was two main things. I had a meeting this morning with a literary agent through ArtLink 212, which is that creative incubator residency program that I did. And so they're putting us in touch with different people to help us finish and publish our projects. And in preparation for that, prior to coming here, I had finished all the inks, all 40 pages. I since consolidated several of the spot illustrations, so it's 38 now. And I just spent quite a few hours actually while I was kind of talking to people and hanging out with people, filling in all the blacks in this old kind of cobbled together copy of Photoshop that I was able to get on this laptop that I checked out from work. So I went and I bought a mouse. So with an $11 mouse, and I didn't realize how much I hate mice because
it.
I don't really use a mouse.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I thought, well, a mouse has got to be better than a trackpad. It's like marginally better than a trackpad. So, so I used a mouse to fill in all the blacks, and I have all 38 pages are completely finished if I don't do color. So, at this point in time, the book is ready for that meeting. And then I met this morning in a group with people like Laura Innes and Steve Leeper and a literary agent, and then a bunch of other people that are kind of in that program along with me. And we just got to ask him questions. He was a like editor in chief and head editor and a bunch of high ranking things at like four major publishers, and then decided to strike out on his own and switch to the representation side. And it was fascinating. It was really interesting. And so asked him a lot of questions. And then afterwards, after the meeting kind of ended, I sent him this PDF and I said, hey, the text is coming. Let me know if this is the type of project, and he actually said, this is going to be a beautiful book. It looks amazing. I don't do children's books because it's so niche that you have to kind of specialize in it. He said, but I did meet this guy who's pretty awesome in that world. And you should, when you have the text ready, send this to him and tell him that I sent you. And so I think it's starting to kind of open up some doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And so at the very least, I don't know anything about this side of art, the publishing side of it. And so at the very least, it was kind of a glimpse into the ways that you can kind of start, because it's not like you just need to find an agent or a publisher. Like you need to find the right agent,
Yeah.
or the right publisher. And there are a bunch of people that will kind of screw you. And we talked about warning signs with that. And there's other people that are great, but they're not great for your project or for your work. And anyway, it was really fascinating.
Yeah.
I think after this, I would probably want to do a series of YouTube videos talking about agents and stuff. And so I think that'll be kind of interesting. But it was a good couple of days. I mean, I don't think I put in the hours that I am able to put in when I'm at my studio, but I was able to get done what I needed to get done for this meeting, which was great. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
So I'll just really quickly, I'm gonna breeze through these, but these are kind of some of the pages that Cory, filled the blacks for, and the PDF that he assembled, and it is really really beautifully done. All the texture and stuff of just um, different, like, yeah, different uses of the spread and really nice balance of the blacks. Like I love this page so much. This was such a cool addition. Like we talked about that in an art check a
Yeah.
couple. It feels like a couple days ago, but I think that was like amid our crazy animation thing. All
Yeah.
right, so that's that. So I'm gonna try to get out of this
And
screen.
I will say, while you're getting out of that, I'm starting to understand that feeling that you hear on Twitter where people are like, "Oh man, I spent like a month putting this issue of this comic together, and everybody just read it in like 6 minutes."
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like people are able to flip through, like 6 months worth of work for me in like 30 seconds and go, "Hey, it looks great." I'm
yeah.
like,
I
oh,
it's crazy, and the thing that's really scary about that is when you're getting it reviewed, because when somebody actually reads it, a lot of the time they'll spend a little more time with it, but it is a pretty quick experience. I always have to remind people,
right,
even in my department with the stuff we're making, it's like, when buyers review it, they're just like they,
right,
it's like 80 designs they just flip through, and
yeah,
it's hard to kind of quantify that till you're in a room and you're actually experiencing it. It's a pretty weird thing, because on one hand you're like proud, on the other you're like, but don't you want to see okay, go ahead.
let me tell you all the choices I made on this page
Yeah,
because it took me a week.
yeah, and that's why I think it's so important to have those thoughts and choices, like in the process. You really want to be clear on that kind of thing, because you can get in depth, but when it comes down to it, when it's getting reviewed, like if it's not saying those thoughts and choices with the words,
Yeah, right.
nobody's going to take the time to hear you. you
Yeah,
know,
I tell my students all the time, the only thing anybody is going to experience is the finished product, and so they have no way of knowing
yeah,
what you're trying to say because of your sketches and your
yeah,
thumbnails and your comps and your all this stuff. They only see the finished thing, and if
yeah,
the finished thing doesn't sing, then they have no idea what you're talking about.
exactly. Yeah. I've Yeah, I wish I could explain this to more people. It's like you're not going to be next to your comic to explain it to everybody
Right,
while they're reading. Um,
right. Yeah,
so
when's the last time you were able to stand next to a billboard and explain it to all the cars that drove by because you chose to put too much text on it, like
oh man, that reminds me of the Cheese Monkeys. I'm sure I've mentioned that, but have you read that book, Chip Kidd?
No, I
Uh,
don't think so.
it's a good one for teachers. It's a good book for teachers.
Uh, I'll
It's
have to
pretty
check it out.
popular with teachers too, in design especially. Because Chip Kidd, Chip Kidd. He's like a awesome
Yeah,
designer. Knopf, like he's been the art director there for like 20 years or something ridiculous.
yeah.
But he's also a really good fiction writer, and he wrote this book about graphic design teacher who actually teaches, and so he gets fired for actually teaching.
Oh, right. You have mentioned this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think I've already mentioned the Billboard test. So go back and listen to it. I'm not going to rehash
It's
it.
it's in one of the other 26 episodes.
Yeah, you got 26 to dig through. Some of them are on time, and most of them go way over. All right, so I'll get into kind of what I accomplished. Well, actually, I kind of got to pull open my screen share for that. Okay, it's not going to be as impressive as Cory's. Um, this is literally it. So I hit pretty much exactly what I thought I would. I inked one panel and I did the lettering in the panel borders. Um, and so that's all inked and ready to go. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. So tonight I'm hoping to get this second panel done. Well, we'll get into that. But yeah, so that's pretty much where it's at with this page. Other than that, I have kept up with my workouts, but today was one of those days where I actually missed it, because I usually try to give my wife like a night off like once every week. It's like a little thing we do. Like she lets me do the rock and roll thing on Tuesdays, and I try to watch Benji like on another night so that she can have a night to just kind of relax and you know shut off her brain for a little bit. Um,
Awesome.
and but anyhow, so tonight was that night. So I will be working late, and, and hopefully maybe even be able to sneak in a workout. So, but other than that, that's that's pretty much where it's at. There's some progress on that special project that you and I worked on, but nothing, no news to report or anything yet. But so far pretty promising.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. As far as struggles go, mine are just more of the same. It's hot. That's not a struggle. It just is
That
hot.
is a struggle. That is totally a struggle.
But in no way is it impeding my progress because I just I haven't had a ton of time anyway. Just I I flew here, and so I wasn't able to really do kind of the mobile inking station that I did the last time I was remote, when I drove, because then I could have like my board, and I could bring, I brought like paper and anyway, I just couldn't. And so I've got my phone and a borrowed laptop that is turning out to not really provide what I need, and my iPad Pro. Um, and so mainly it's just I don't have like a dedicated space to work. And then the other part of the challenge is I don't have dedicated time. And so I'm like still doing my day job, not a ton, but I'm still like, communicating with those that are covering for me. And then just running back and forth between the hospital and here, and uh, you know errands and paperwork and all the stuff that comes along with it. And then we did get to spend a few hours with our baby, hopefully our baby uh, today, and so that was fun. So mainly it's just been time and location, are the challenges. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think anybody who's experienced like, you know, childbirth or like adoption or anything like having a kid at that age is just the whole thing's overwhelming. The whole hospital thing, it's kind of emotionally overwhelming. It's very uh, like sleep depriving, and so it's a wonder to me. I'm impressed you got like your blacks filled, honestly. So and got that PDF put together. I think right now any steps are like pretty impressive.
yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a massive struggle, man. Yeah, I do you have any others, or you want me to dip into mine, or
No, yeah. What have been your challenges?
so my only ones are just Bernie has like an eye thing now, and so there was vet stuff with that, but he's really recuperated, which is really cool. So he actually like jumped up on my lap today, which was really weird.
Cool.
He's technically not supposed to do, but it was just he's like extra like normal, like
Good.
attitude wise, like really excited, running around. And just kind of having fun and being a dog, which is great to see. Um, but we still have to take care of him, and then work has just been a nightmare in the sense of not the workplace itself, but just the situation because I've been having to staff in the middle of rush season, and so we finally staffed up, which is cool, and found hopefully the right candidate, and they're starting next week, so I have that off my plate. So I might be able to actually sleep a little bit more because there's a lot less stress um, at work. Because like once again, it's just like being an art director, you're stressed a lot anyway. It's a lot of it's just mediating stress and keeping your emails like clear and trying to kind of multitask and design and do illustration. So it's like you're kind of juggling a million plates, and when you add like having to be away from your office for like 2 hours out of the day, that's nuts because you get back and you have like this piled inbox and stuff. So I'm thankful that's gone. So that's because that's been a massive struggle. But like once again, when I talk about my struggles, and then I think, oh well, but Cory's in Arizona and he's filling his blacks and making PDFs and doing pitch meetings and stuff. So you know, I think that's the whole purpose of this thing is to kind of for us to all be kept on point with our projects and stuff. So it's cool to see that working, because to me it's really inspiring seeing you out there doing that stuff, and it's also exciting. I hope it goes well, and I'm excited for you too. So I think that's
Yeah.
going to be cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And right now we can't really share anything, but when we can, I'll have pictures and videos, and he's just the cutest, happiest little baby. So yeah, it's good stuff. Good
that's so
challenges to
rad.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super rad challenge. Um, so amid all of that stuff, what are your plans? Like, what do you think is a good, reasonable kind of plan that you might be able to hit, or if any,
Yeah.
honestly?
So I'm super excited about my plans actually. A little I kind of carved out some time, and so Scott Cirkland and I are going to do a CircWorks Illa Talk crossover tomorrow night. And we'll do that live. And so, if you guys have seen how Josh and I normally do this, or how I've been doing my YouTube videos lately, even though I don't think I've done a video for 2 or 3 weeks,
Mhm.
but I use a live switcher, and I liked it so much that I kept talking about it, and Scott got one. And so I'm going to go kind of show him the ropes, which I don't even think I really need to, because they're pretty intuitive, and he's a super smart and techie guy. But anyway, I'll just show him like the tips and tricks that I've kind of come across, and maybe save him a couple hours of fumbling around. And then right after that, we are going to go live with my first episode of me trying to figure out what to do at conventions. And so what I'm going to do is not every one of these will be on location. Most of these are going to be kind of live remote, like Josh and I do. Where it'll be kind of a split screen. But where I can, I'm going to try to do it in person. And I'm just going to interview people who have experience with exhibiting at conventions and festivals and whatever. And I was kind of inspired by Mike Emmerich. He's doing this with printers. And I don't think mine will be as nearly as polished. It'll be a little bit more of kind of an ad hoc situation. But most of it will be about that, and then the rest of it is just going to be, things I'm super interested in that I think other people are interested in too. Like, how do you find time to do things? How do you stay motivated? Where does your inspiration come from? What drives you to do this? Why are you doing this and not welding, or whatever, any number of other things.
Yeah,
And so it'll be kind of a get to know the artist a little bit as well. So it's going to be a really interesting series. I'm kicking it off with Scott. And then I've tentatively reached out to a number of other artists, but I'm going to do a big push when I get back to try to see if I can line up one a week.
nice.
And I don't know if I can, but I will be doing at least 6 to 12 of them before I go and do my convention for the first time. And
Smart.
so that's my plan, is to apparently Scott is not close to me. Every time I tell people where he is, mileage, it seems to not be that far. But then every time I'm like, oh, he's over here, everybody's like, oh man. So I don't know if it's going to be really bad traffic, or if people just don't like driving here. I'm not sure, but because I'm used to living in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, oh yeah, you're only 4 hours away. I can be there this morning, or whatever. And so,
Yeah.
uh,
Whereas like people in downtown LA, if you live in like Glendale, which is like 15-minute to 20-minute drive, people are like, oh, I can't. It's just too much of a drive.
yeah, no, literally the other day I drove a group of students to a meeting 250 miles away, and then we came back after the meeting, and so it was like an 8 hour round trip drive. That's just kind of what you have to do when you live in the middle of nowhere. so, so to me, it's like worst case scenario. There's traffic and it takes me a while, but it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, but that's my plan. Anyway, and
Awesome.
Scott's being super, super accommodating, and so I'm excited to do that. I've been wanting to interview Scott for a long time, so
That's cool. Yeah, Scott's a good dude. So that
yeah,
would be my first stop in Arizona, would be to see Scott.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Don't
oh,
don't
go ahead.
come in July.
Yeah, no. I hear like winter is probably the best bet, but who knows?
Yeah. So
Um,
what are you planning on doing in the next 48 hours?
yeah, so I mean, I do really hope to ink the panel 2 and panel 3. I
Mm-hmm.
also really want to prioritize sleeping because this week's been like very short on sleep. And a lot of it's just from like pushing really hard on projects and stuff like that. But I don't think I've
Right.
gotten a full 8 hours of sleep in like a month. Um,
Yeah.
so I kind of think I might actually need to aim for like a nice 8 hour rest, just because like I don't know. But so I want to do that. I want to maintain the workout. I want to ink the next 2 panels of quarterly stories. This next page. That last panel is going to be a beast, but I don't have to tackle that by Monday. Monday night is when I'm going to start that guy, but I don't know how long that's going to take
Yeah.
because that's more of a panel like it's done in like a Cory Kerr style with all the knots and details and stuff. Um, I'm gonna start calling that a Cory Kerr style because those are so
Okay.
like just looking through that PDF, like the really fine detail on all of those trees and stuff and the different brush techniques. It's really cool to see, and like even the really subtle splatters on that silhouette page. I was like, oh, this is so cool. So,
I got ink.
but
I got
yeah,
ink everywhere on that page.
it's great though. It
It's
looks.
like
I mean,
covered my head. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the best way to go, man. And like that's the funny thing. I've actually noticed this. Like the more I've inked, I will often like ink and then go straight to bed, and then I'll wake up and I'll have like ink lines all over my face because somehow it's still on my finger because
Right.
there's just one finger that it gets on. Um, yeah, but I love that about traditional inking. If digital inking gave you smudged fingers and like you got a little dirty from it, maybe people, at least people like me, might be more into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I have special inking clothes now because I've ruined so many clothes that I have to change into like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put on my inking pants.
Nice, like a smock kind of thing.
No, it's just crappy pants.
Uh,
It's pants I've already ruined, and I'm like, well, they're already ruined.
I think you should get a smock and a beret and just
Right?
rock
Just pull it
that
up the
crap.
side. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
So
All right. Well, I have to say, like, I'm really impressed that you managed to like just keep plugging away and keeping being creative and keeping producing stuff. It's really cool to see.
well, you as well. This sounds like a mutual compliment deal, but I mean, having a family member and anybody who argues that a pet isn't a family member hasn't had a good pet, or isn't a good pet owner. In distress and needing care, that's taxing and time consuming and hard. And yeah, I think if you're looking for excuses, they'll come. But
Yeah.
uh, but you can always get at least a little bit done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Carve away, man.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well,
Okay.
I'm enjoying the conversation so much. I don't want to cut it short, but like I said, I'm aiming for 8 hours. So
Yeah, we'll
um,
do we'll do a big longer one sometime in the next couple of weeks. Kind
for
of, kind
sure.
of. Yeah, I think
Yeah, and
that'll be good.
I think actually maybe even monthly or every other month or something. We should have like a more long view one where we
Yeah,
talk about longer view goals.
because
And
I'm actually at the point where I need to have that conversation because I need to solidify some of that in my mind.
yeah,
Because I've just been pushing for like 6 months. I've just been pushing so hard at getting this inked. It's inked now, and I need to reevaluate project and see what I need to do next. So yeah, that should happen. We'll do that soonish.
yeah. I think let's aim for when you've returned, because I think that'll be a good time, and also it'll
Yeah,
be better for you with because I'm sure you honestly need probably a full 8 as well if that's even a possibility at this point.
I mean, the baby's still in the hospital, so we're just visiting at this point. He's
Yeah,
not. We haven't adopted yet, and so
you don't have the full weight yet
right,
of that.
exactly, exactly.
Oh man.
So
Well, let's hope soon, because like that's going to be a really huge
yeah,
thing.
if everything goes according to plans and expectations, it will be shortly. So yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, if you want to check out Josh's stuff, then go to quarterlystories.com, and you can check out his book. And every page that is up is available for free. And so if you want to read it, it's there. It's also being serialized on Tapas, which is a mobile app. If you want to check out my stuff, you can go to corykerr.com. And I had an epiphany earlier today during this meeting of how I'm going to change my website, because if you go there right now, you'll see a bunch of really cool, very colorful things, and that's half of what I do. The other half of what I do is exceptionally, excruciatingly, almost annoyingly detailed inks, and I don't show that very well on my site. So right now, go look at the stickers that I made, because that's what's up. But that's at corykerr.com, and we will see you guys on Monday. Um, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to get this stuff done. We'll see everybody on Monday.
Yeah, I will see you Monday, sir. We will see you guys Monday, and I need sleep. I'm totally rambling about Mondays now. All right, bye.
Right. Okay. Bye.